Mr. Parent, I cannot speak to you about any students in my class. I have completed the grades for the semester, turned in academic dishonesty reports where appropriate, and any student who wishes to challenge their grade may do so in accordance with Board Policy 5505.
Miss Jones, please give me a copy of your syllabus. Also, I will review my son's term paper to see if I concur with your findings of academic dishonesty. If not, I believe a conference is in order, especially prior to you filing your report. I believe due process should be in order prior to you filing such a report.
Mr. Parent, federal law prevents me from discussing any student issue with anyone other than the student themselves. I cannot talk to you about your son. Students enrolled in my class can discuss issues with me.
Are you suggesting we turn this into a legal issue, where I need a power of attorney to discuss this? It would appear based on the CCs on our emails to your department chair, Mr. Brown, and your dean, that you have already escalated this issue. My son does understand the seriousness of plagiarism and the importance of correctly citing his sources. I believe what we have in this case is an error of omission, and not one where the intent is deceit or fraud. It is also one which should not affect his academic records. In reading my professional accounting magazines, you see in the letters to the editor section, where readers point out where an author forgot to cite another contributor's work. The reader in these cases is merely pointing out that the author did not pay attention to the details and was careless in his work. This is usually followed by a note from the editor with an apology for the oversight. I think you have a good opportunity here to educate my son on what plagiarism is. I believe that given the facts and circumstances, that the following disciplinary action would seem appropriate. Assign additional work, or have him rewrite the assignment, or take another version of the test, paper, etc.
I cannot talk to you about your son.
I have filled out the federal privacy waiver form and have filed it with admissions and records.
You cannot simply claim to have your son's permission to speak to me. Also, I don't know where you got that form, as it is not used at this college. In fact, you copied that form, or should I say plagiarized it, from a college in New Jersey. This is not the policy that our school follows. There's no filing of letters done here.
Your dean walked me through the grade grievance process. I was, however, surprised with her predisposition of my son's potential grievance and your conclusion that he cheated on his assignment versus what really was an error of omission. As I reviewed the process, I am concerned about the lack of independence inherent in the process. The grievance hearing panel consists of the dean and a faculty member appointed by the academic senate. In this case, and with your dean's predisposition noted above, would not be conducive to a fair and equitable assessment relating to this grievance. The other issue with independence is the academic senate and your department chair, Mr. Brown. Both Mr. Brown and you are involved on Senate committees. In addition, you and Mr. Brown have an outside working relationship as board members with the California Educators Society. With this lack of independence, it is difficult to assume that a fair and equitable decision can be reached. The reality is that a fair and equitable decision should have been reached already. Barring that, the only other option would be to involve an outside independent arbitrator to review the grievance.
So now you are questioning the integrity of my dean, my colleague, and me? Also, as I stated before, I cannot talk to you about your son.
I'll be honest, I am not used to this kind of evasiveness. But here are some other questions for you to answer. Is there an ombudsman for the college whose role would be to safeguard the fairness of this process? How many students were in this class and how many were cited for plagiarism? How many grade grievances were filed last year? How many actually went through the formal hearing process? How many grade grievances were actually found in favor of the student?
Mr. Parent, our next step toward resolution will be through the Vice President of Student Services. His office will be contacting your son to set up a meeting. Any specifics about this meeting can and will be addressed to the Vice President of Student Services and your son.
But what about my son's grade? Are you going to change it?
Get out.